feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
Hi everyone, welcome. If you are my previous subscribers, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you guys again. And if you are brand new subscribers, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. If this is your first time on my video, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about specifically the Omicron variant, the tarot card reading. I'm going to do reading on that. Kind of get a generic reading. I have not read anything on the news about it. I don't know anything about the symptoms, the cases rising. I know nothing. So this will be an unbiased, non-biased reading. I don't do a lot of biases in my readings. The majority of them are honest and straightforward, as I tend to forget things. And so you can expect that in today's reading. So I'm going to be as honest and openly straight with you as possible based on what I get in the cards today. We're going to be using my homemade tarot deck that I have made. So I do hope you guys like this. And let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of today's video. Don't forget to also like the video. Engagement helps my YouTube channel. Don't forget to also comment as well. That also helps as well. Okay, guys. Let's begin. Today is 10:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it is currently, forgot the date already, being live streamed on December 22nd, 2021 at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here are some quick disclaimers on your screen. Now, please keep in mind that this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for education purposes only as well. Please don't substitute my advice in today's video for medical advice. Leave that up for your doctor or up to your decision, but please don't take any of what I say in today's video to take it with a grain of salt. I'm just an entertainer. That's all that I am. And you have some other disclaimers as well. You can pause the video if you want to read them. Other than that, let's jump on straight forward to the YouTube video. And if you are new here, of course, everything will be timestamped in the description below accordingly based on blockage. So if you want to go check in the comment section or the description, you'll find that there. Quickly before we do begin, if you have not already, follow my Facebook group. It's a great way to stay updated and know everything that's currently going on with my YouTube channel, along with polls, free tarot card, personal reading, along with me telling you when I'm going live with a direct link to take you here, if you are interested. And as well, if you have not already voted, please go to my community page on my channel to vote when you want me to host a New Year's Eve event. We have Tuesday, December 28th, Wednesday, December 29th, and Thursday, December 30th, if you have not already voted. This will help me tremendously, especially when coming with the most amount of people. That would be mostly the day that we're going to go with. And so if you have not, please vote. You have a couple of days, so please. All right. Hi, Annie. Welcome. Happy holiday, love. Okay, so let's jump in. We're going to start doing some readings because I don't want to keep you waiting. All right, so Spirit Angel, please tell me, what is it that we need to know about the Omicron variant? Like, how does it give me a generic reading? What's the next couple of months going to look like with the Omicron? Oops. Okay, there you go. What's the next couple of weeks going to look like with the Omicron? What is the Omicron variant going to look like for the next couple of months? Is it something dangerous? Is there anything that we should be aware of? What is it going to look like? Are we going to have high cases? Is it going to be like a flu? Like it's not really much to worry about? Is it like a dangerous virus where it appears weak and then it strikes its victim last minute, like a nice blow to the head? Actually, I sounded it wrong when it came out, but okay. Let's go with that. All right, so interesting. All right, so I'm going to show you the cards first. So we have the Woman's Right card reverse. We have Swing State the Size, your Florida. We have the Senate 50-50 reverse. We have Election Margin reverse. It's actually ironic because this is actually very historically accurate based on what it is right now. Now, you may not see that, but if you look behind the cards, it actually is accurate. Okay, so we have women's rights. So I feel like a lot of women, this virus, particularly this variant, is going to attack and not going to protect, excuse me, wrong word, it's going to affect more men than women, or at least people who have more masculine energy than feminine energy. That does not mean I count down females in general, to count down people who have more dominant traits of feminism in them than masculine. The reason why I say that is because it's just a characteristic that I'm using, not necessarily trying to be sexist here in any way. I'm just trying to explain how the virus is attracted to certain energy, at least particularly this one. We have here as well is we have foreign interference, and that because this is upright, and so if I flip it, it's foreign interference. So we have here, this variant comes from another country, which we already talked about. It comes from Africa. And so the reason why it comes from Africa, Africa actually is a very high breeding ground for viruses in general. And because it's hot and climate, it just makes the perfect conditions. And what I'm sensing here, that actually what made the Omicron variant so strong, a super virus, so to speak, is that it had a mixture of 4 different viruses, potentially even more. And that's what makes it very interesting. And almost like a Lego building block. The best way that I could describe what is going on here with the variant itself is the best way I could put it. I'm going to make a little graph shot for you right now. Oops. Now we have the first original one. We have the second one, right? But when these two viruses meet, it's almost like a parent. In order for them to make a brand new, stronger variant, it's going to take the strong strains. What it's going to do, the second one, it's going to mutate just like parents are mutated when they make a child. It's going to take the positive strains from the parents, and it's going to make a super virus, and one that's more immune and more efficient, more better qualities. So, for example, just say the blue one has immunity to winter or cold weathers, right? But this one is more likely to spread faster in water. But when these two are combined, not only is the virus only able to live in hot, very cold climates, but it's also able to be infected the water or the pollution in terms of that. So that's basically how that would operate. So the reason why we have the Omicron variant is that the more they meet, the more they're going to mix together. Kind of very similar to Play-Doh. If you take blue and you take red, it's going to make a purple. And you take purple and you mix it with yellow, you get brown. And it keeps going continuously. Think of it like a color code. It's going to mix, and it's going to get more and more advanced, more different characteristics, kind of the same way human evolution is. This is not a surprise. It's not shocking. Just they'll put it out there. So don't be worried. This is a common thing. It's just evolution that we're seeing in front of us. So we also have the swing state side here. We have election of 2000. And actually, this is very interesting. The reason why this is interesting, that actually around early 2000, COVID came onto the radar for the CDC. And so they've been keeping an eye on COVID ever since. COVID was originally supposed to be announced as a pandemic either in 2004 or 2006. So the reason why this card comes up is very significant because it talks about that actually the Omicron is the first version of COVID, which is why it appears mild. But you also have to remember then with the brand new variant, right, with the Omicron mixing together, that's when it becomes disastrous because the old one from 2000, early 2000, has more wiser knowledge, more understanding, maybe potentially developed traits that maybe the new one hasn't developed, and so they can mix together and create a brand new version. We have here as well, we have the Senate 50-50 reverse, and we have unpopular leader. Right now, Joe Biden is a very unpopular leader, at least in the country, in terms of the national polling data. And it makes a lot of sense because the way that the election is going in terms of the COVID is that COVID, people are not approving the way Joe Biden is handling it. And that's particularly because of the way the previous administration handled COVID at first. We have here as well is that the Democrats currently hold the Congress. So they have everything in their power to stop the Omicron. And so what they need to do in order to win is they need to pass legislation to help the people, the American people. And so this is actually interesting why this policy comes into it, because I expected more of a health reading, but I guess it is a political deck, so I'm not that surprised. But let's just keep reading. Let's see what else. if there's any more. I'm going to try not to read politically. I'm going to try to read more health-wise. What's the long-term effect of it? Short-term? Is it dangerous? How long is the pandemic going to last? Stuff like that. All right, so Spirit Angel, tell me about the Omicron. Is this going to prolong the pandemic further? Is the Omicron variant going to prolong the pandemic further? Okay, so they told me to flip it. I can then flip it on his back. That's what they told me. Okay. Hi, Demi. Hi, Stockton. Okay, so we have the president, the politician. We have the Republican president reverse. We have robot, impeachment trial. And then, of course, we have tight race. Okay, interesting. We have no pandemic card here, which is even more ironic. The fact that I had it in there, even the health card didn't even come up with it. All right, so we have the president. So we have representative, senator, governor, president, the politician, right? We have here as well, we have the Democratic president, which is why it's reversed. When it's reversed, you flip it and it's a Democrat. So we have a Democratic president, which we do at the moment. We have robot, we have DNA. So we have DNA, artificial intelligence, understanding physics, technology, solar system, extraterrestrial DNA. Right, we're talking about the DNA of the Omicron variant. And what I'm sensing here that it likes to go for older people, particularly men, older men. I feel like this Omicron variant targets men. I don't know what it is, but there's something around men that it's attracted to that it likes to go for, basically. I guess you can say the best way to scare some people to say the virus is gay and watch how fast people get vaccinated. But anyway, besides the point, we have minimum wage here. We have industrial revolution, child labor, manufacturing industry. So what I'm suggesting is the best way to get the Omicron variant is if for minimum wage workers. It feels like the best way to get it is if you work in a factory, in an area where there's high content or high concentration of people in one place at a certain time, touching, putting things, breaking things, removing things, like, food stores, grocery stores, retail, all those, that's the best way to get Omicron. So if you're trying to avoid the variant because you're at high risk, the best way to do it is start ordering things online and instead of going to the store directly, okay? Now, this is just for entertainment purposes only. You cannot substitute my advice for medical advice. Do what you feel is necessary. We also have here tight raise. But on the reverse side here, we have the Senate. The Senate card comes up a lot. So there might be something with the Omicron here that might be very particular to the Senate. Like I mentioned earlier, older men, they like older men here. We have an older male figure, which is interesting. Potentially, maybe one of the senators would get Omicron. And that would scare a lot of people. They may have been working very closely with President Biden. We're going to kind of keep speeding through now, kind of see what else is to be expected here. I don't see any pandemic so far. This is weird. You will expect that at some point. That's the card I'm looking for, but I don't see any pandemic. Okay, so we have your unemployment here. That's for births. We have Twin State Decide 2000. So we have 2000 again in both cards. So there's something here with 2000 here, potentially telling me that maybe this variant had the symptoms, the characteristics of the old version. Potentially this COVID variant that widely being spread. It might not be from the COVID variant that we know today. It could be one from that's older. And therefore, it does not have any sort of connection, but it could potentially link, and that could be bad. We do have here as well, we have voter suppression or technology altered withdrawal voting booth. What I am sensing here that people are indeed altering withdrawal, potentially vaccination cards, telling people that they're vaccinated even though they're really not. Another thing I'm sensing here as well is that people are actually changing the results of who has what in terms of medical confidential papers, information, stuff like that. Maybe death certificates and how someone died. They might be altering it. And because of that, it's not giving us an accurate data to understand exactly how COVID affects our daily lives. We do have here as well as young adult voters, so particularly between the age of 30 to 44. I do see that that is a very dangerous um, age group, particularly for men and children. I do feel like men and children are very component, particularly young girls and older men. I feel like those two are the very strong shoes for this Omicron variant, as that's what it likes to go for. I don't know why. I just can't explain why that feels like it's young girls and older men, but not women or young boys. It does not make any sense to me. Maybe eventually we'll find out why. We do have here, though, we have the electoral margin. Normally, this isn't a card that normally you could possibly read with us, but I am sensing here that potentially, if any sort of legislation that relates to COVID, um, anything, it will not pass in the House. Where if it goes to the Senate, it will pass in the Senate, but will not pass in the House. We do have here the polls are wrong. So it tells me right now the data for the Omicron are incorrect. So it does feel like, again, like I did say earlier, that it feels like someone's altering the data for the Omicron. So we don't know exactly what it is that we're dealing with. I don't sense that is dangerous, but let's just ask, because that's an interesting thing to ask. Spirit Science will tell me, is the Omicron variant dangerous? Is the Omicron variant dangerous? Is it dangerous? They told me to turn the deck around. Is the Omicron variant dangerous? Okay. Too many, but all right, we'll go with that. Probably when you make too many cards. Okay, so we have here this reverse. We're going to flip it. We have 2016. Talk to voters, know the candidates. Election day upset. We're acting as it dangerous, right? We're talking about 2016 when Hillary Clinton said, I warned American people about what was coming for the United States, and the things that she said about Donald Trump that actually came true, that she predicted 4 years prior. It does feel like in this case as well, the fact that this card comes up and we have election day upset tells me that the data that they are receiving because of the ultimate result of it is not going to be correct. And because of that, people are going to be very upset and don't know who or what to believe because they're feeling that they're being misled in some way or some form. It's very weird. I don't know. I really hope that we actually find out what this is, particularly. And maybe I might just use a different deck to kind of see if we can get something different. We do have here the Roaring Twenties, my post-influenza pandemic. It's reversed, and I'll tell me right now, as of now, if you're hoping for the pandemic to end, I don't see it ending anytime soon. So no, it won't end. We do have here Strength and Freedom, the American Eagle. No, this will not be the variant that will injure a lot of Americans, so to speak, or wound a lot of Americans. I do feel like this is a weaker virus, so you can breathe a sigh of relief. Particularly because it does have a particular age group and particular gender that it likes. And so therefore it does not affect everybody. So that's why it could potentially be just as mild, even better, or it could be just because it's older, it's an old version of a variant. So that's what I'm sending here for right now, but let's just kind of use a different tarot deck. Maybe we'll get something different. We're gonna use the good old fashioned right away. So Spirit and Angel tell me, how long would the pandemic last? Let's just do that. Let's just see. Okay, so we have 9 reverse. So it's not going to be 9 years, not 9 months. I don't feel like it's going to be ending in 9 months. It feels like it's going to be longer than that. It's not going to be a decade. We know that. Could be ready, said not 9. How long will the pandemic last? I did say a total of 5 years, though. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. So potentially it could be between 7 months, could be 7 days. Unlikely for 7 days, so don't get your hopes up. 7 weeks, unlikely. It does feel like in some way that it could be longer. Total, with all the years that added since the release and the declaration that the pandemic has started within the United States, which I believe was March 22nd of 2020, how many years from that date will the pandemic last within the United States? Okay, thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so right now it looks like 7. There seems to be a number of 7 here. I don't know what it is, but there seems to be a 7 here. I originally thought 5 because that was something I felt for a long time in my reading, but it seems to be appearing that number 7 is coming up for America. So potentially, because we're not listening, that could be why. Right now, we actually, if you believe it or not, actually we're almost 2 years into COVID, which will actually make sense because it will be 5 years. But I thought we only had 3 more years left, but I guess not. With 7 plus 2020, that would be 2027. Okay, that's a long time. What makes sense because that was the same length as influenza. Spirit Angel, please tell me, will the pandemic end in 2027? Yeah. Okay, so by that point, we'll have a woman president. We'll have our first woman president. It does feel like in some way we will find the vaccine. Now, this could potentially mean that maybe the pandemic ends, but the variant or like COVID still exists until we find a cure, so to speak. That's what it could be. It could be a vaccine that could be produced that could help fight whatever cases of COVID that we had that year, if that makes any sense. So there is some sort of flexibility here. Is there going to be another variant after Omicron? I would not doubt it. The fact that it says 7 years, I would not doubt it, but we can look. We can just play with it at this point. And I'll kind of do like other readings as well. I'm gonna try to remove a lot of these cards that they're like in the way of everything. Woo. Really, what's this? Maybe I should not use that for health. That's not really a health deck. Learn as you go, right? All right. So Spirit Angels tell me, will there be another variant after Omicron? Okay, that was quick. Oops. Okay, so yes, you will. Let me lay them out. Okay. So we're in this stage right now. We're still in trouble, right? That's where we are currently as a nation, as the world, really, as the world entered in. We have so many variants that it's so hard to keep track. And we're right now in this trouble. We don't really know where to look. And the fact is that misinformation is playing a big role in elongating the effects of lifting up COVID. That's what is happening here. We have here as well as we have the Two of Cups here. What this thing is, the real reason why we have COVID and why it's going so long is that basically it's a lesson, it's a karmic lesson for all of us that we need to undergo, that we need to become together and become whole. We need to become one unity. We basically need to almost realign ourselves with one another and help each other, right? We have politics that's dividing us. We have the news media that's dividing us. We have health that's dividing us. We have money. We have everything. But think about one thing in your life that actually brings so many people, the entire collective and the globe together. There's nothing that brings you together like a pandemic, right? And the reason why that is because the pandemic here forces people to try to even have some sort of empathy for one another, right? There are those who are just natural and empathetic, and there are those who are not carrying the DNA of an empathetic person, or because maybe they're closed off, maybe the heart chakra is blocked in some way. We do have here as well, we do have the death card here. I don't see any more deadly variant that's going to be very shaky. I feel like Delta was one of the big ones that could have been, but would have been. But I don't feel like there's going to be any big deadly one. There's going to be a lot of variants that are going to come out of this, but there won't be anything that could potentially bubonic plague everybody type of thing. We do have here as well as we have the 4 of Wands here. It does feel like there's going to be about 4 big ones that's going to come after Omicron. But that's really it. I don't really see anything really particular. I do feel like we're going to be at this point right now where we're going to have high cases. It's going to drop at this low peak, and then it's going to go back up. And it's going to kind of be in that roller coaster kind of wave. You kind of just have to ride in, right? Don't be in that state of fear, right? There was a guy that I'm talking to. He's like, oh, I'm very scared of Omicron. I'm like, you're going to manifest it. The more you think about feeling it, the more you're going to bring it into your life. What you want to do is you just want to think about your healthy mind, healthy body. That's all that you want to think about. We have here as well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's 7. We have the seven of wands here reversed. And what it kind of tells me here that people are not willing to fight for one another. And so that's kind of a karmic lesson here. I feel like I always said this all the time that COVID is a karmic lesson for all of us that we need to undergo, and that's something that we agree to on a soul contract level. And so a lot of people right now are trauma related, and so the way they're reacting to COVID is the way that they reacted when they were put in timeout when they were children. You gotta give some people some sort of space to really break those mold, those habits that they learned as a child. Let's kind of take a last minute look at the long term effects. Actually, we already know when COVID ends, right? We asked about that. It's about 7 years total to about 2027. Well, let's ask about the long-term effect after COVID. Like, what will the world look like after COVID? But to end off on hopefully a positive note, what will the world look like after COVID? Yeah, okay. We're going to have a golden age. That's what I'm sensing here, that we're going to have a golden age in America, at least about 4 years, 3 or 5 years of a golden age, and then we're going to have a crash. That's something I always told you guys about. Would you rather have the crash happen but no golden age, or would you rather have the golden age and then the crash? It's going to happen regardless, so you might as well just have the happiness before it crashes. So we do have here as well, we do have the 4 wands here that tells me that people are happy, they're out and about, people can finally hold hands together. They can actually, see people in the background sitting down, eating a picnic. You see 2 people here dressing and are happy. I do feel like there's going to be a lot of unions then. People are going to feel like they are themselves. Like they're not the person that they were 5 years ago. They're not the person that they were 7 years ago. And it feels like people are themselves. Like they're not afraid to reveal and show you who they really are on the inside. So you almost feel like in some way we're going to start seeing people who are more genuine. We're going to have the 3 of Pentacles here. It's going to feel like even though a lot of us are all broke or a lot of us won't have a lot of money and we're going to be begging for money, it feels like eventually the government is going to run out dry of money, right? But what's going to end up happening here, because the government runs out of money and is completely dry, what this tells me here is that there's going to be a change, because it feels like in some way, this is what it feels like. It feels like there's going to be this evolution of some speak, that these people in higher position that have so much money that the fact that the poor people no longer have any money that they can take away from them, there is no power, there is no sense that they feel like they're in control anymore. So they're going to start giving out money away for free because they feel like they can't take anything else from people because they fully embellish themselves. They're like, well, you took my money, you took everything away from me, but I'm still here, I'm still okay, I'm surviving. And it feels like in some way that those people who have so much money lost control, is what this feels like. And then we have here the people around the world are going to start to celebrate. They're going to be happy. It almost feel like there's going to be like celebration parades on the streets. People are just going to be celebrating. They're going to be thankful that they're alive and that they survive. They're going to honor those who have sadly couldn't survive, and that they're going to honor those who have been silent, and for those who have been misled by all the people who have misled them or misled them information. So it does feel like in some way that it's going to be a happy period. There will be justice that's going to be coming on the way. Like I said, eventually there will be too much money that's going to be drained out, and they won't feel like those people who are draining the money from the people won't feel anything anymore because there's nothing else that they can drain from you. And therefore, it's almost like a game, like when you play the game, but you cheat the game, and now it kind of gets boring. It's kind of like that. We have here, this is where the medievalism comes in to play. That we're going to have a golden renaissance. It's going to be called like an earthy renaissance. Potentially, it could just be an American renaissance, where we start to focus on our own passion, start doing what we love, start to become entrepreneurs and doing what we want and helping each other by getting along and just appreciating each other. I feel like there's a sense of happiness, love, joy, appreciation. We have here there's no more working till you drop. There's more about work-life balance, that there's an understanding of social cultural norm that you have to work 4 days a week, and you make the same amount of money, you get paid, but you become more productive, you become happier, you be able to see your family, you're able to have better relationships. I just feel like overall that we're looking forward to a happier time after post COVID. So there is a lot that you have to look forward to. Don't always ask yourself and say, just in a short a time of darkness, you ask yourself, well, why are we here? Why are we experiencing this? We're experiencing this so that we can be appreciative when we receive the light. Because if you are being given light constantly, you won't understand why it's so good for you until you've been in darkness. You won't realize how good you had it really good for good. Oh, excuse me, that sounded so wrong. You don't realize how good you had it until you lost it, right? So, for example, that's why in movies they show people who are in a relationship, they're together. One person's not appreciative of the other one person's really showing them love and genuine kindness that they're not used to. They don't see it because they're not used to it, and therefore they leave from their lives and go separate ways. But the person who wasn't appreciative, realized what they missed out on, and they go back and chase it. That's what we're going through right now, that we weren't very appreciative of all the life things that we really had, or what we could have had going for us, that we needed to be shown this to our faces, go be put through this dark time period, these dark decades, so that we can be appreciative when we come out of it with happy times that come afterwards. And we're going to end off on the sun. Yes, there will be happy times. I do feel like there's going to be a spiritual growth. Like, it almost felt like this is the Adam and Eve. This was like the thing that everybody spoke about, being in spiritual control, being in control of your own destiny, being in control of your own life. It almost feels like this is the fifth dimension. This is who you are. This is the higher self. This is the higher self speaking to you, that there's so much happening for you going forward. And so there's nothing to fear, but be happy. Enjoy the time that you're in now. Ask yourself, instead of why is this variant coming about, ask yourself, what can I learn from this variant? Why am I in lockdown in my state? What am I doing during this lockdown that's actually helping me spiritually, mentally, physically, and all those different things? Like, for example, I'm going to give you one. I realized that I've been struggling for many years and I couldn't help myself anymore. And so I went out and got a therapist, right? That's okay. You need to seek help when needed. You need to learn what you need and get yourself the help that you rightfully deserve. You need to do the same here. Don't let something like this cloud your judgment of what's best for you. And so the reason why you're facing this, the reason why you're experiencing the things you are in this timeline, in this pandemic, is so that you can evolve as a human being. And this is a very positive message. I'm very happy that we ended off on a good note. Otherwise, guys, I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you guys like this message. I hope you find it positive. I hope you are looking forward to the end of the pandemic. And I love you all so very much. Remember, don't forget to vote in the polls and for what day you want me to do the New Year's Eve event. So we do have Tuesday, December 28th, Wednesday, December 29th, and Thursday, December 30th. Don't forget to vote in the community page or the community tab. Other than that, guys, I love you so much. Have a very beautiful night, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Thank you for tuning in.